I can do a live version of Blockbuster review. And normally it's 150 lines. 150 lines or until the bricks get to the top. But since I wanted to do Justice League, and since Justice League is 4 hours, how about we do 999 lines? Which does two things. It almost guarantees I'm not actually going to get 999 lines, especially if I'm talking about a movie during it. And it's guaranteed to last longer. Just like Trojan condoms, question mark? So, without further ado, the extended Kirk Has Glasses cut of Blockbuster review for Zack Snyder's Justice League. And here we go. So Zack Snyder's Justice League is now on HBO Max, and if you're a fan of Zack Snyder, you've been crying ever since it came out. At least that's what TikTok and Instagram has been telling me. And if you don't know the story of the Zack Snyder Justice League, I mean, I have time to tell you, but I don't know if it'll be as accurate as it should be. Zack Snyder was set to direct Justice League, which came out in 2017, I want to say. And it included Ben Affleck's Batman from Batman vs. Superman. It included Superman from Batman vs. Superman / Man of Steel. And it included Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman from Batman vs. Superman, who was in it to let you know that they're making a universe and they're doing it quick, buddy. And, you know, whether or not you liked Batman v Superman, I think depends on how much you love Lois Lane, because she was all over that fucker. And they were coming out with Justice League, and we're like, okay, so I guess we're just gonna superheat and microwave the rest of those characters and just put them in the movie and see what happens. With like a little 30-second thing about each of them in Batman v Superman that doesn't seem crowbarred in at all. Anyhoozle, they came out with Justice League after Zack Snyder had to leave the project due to a very serious personal issue where his daughter committed suicide, which is not a funny thing at all. Not funny. No jokes here at all. But because of that tragedy, he had to leave the project. As he put it, he couldn't finish it, which makes perfect sense. He can't finish it on a release schedule like Warner Brothers had, because they had to catch up with Marvel right now, goddammit, even though they don't obviously know what they're doing. And so they gave the film to Joss Whedon, who now, according to history and stories, is kind of a bastard. So Joss Whedon took that movie, took everything that Zack Snyder shot, was like, this is trash. Shot a bunch of his own shit with Henry Cavill, his Superman, with a mustache, because he was shooting he was shooting Mission Impossible something or other, and they wouldn't let him shave his mustache, so they had to pay a digital effects company to remove the mustache, which created just an amazing effect of absolute insanity, where you could tell every scene Henry Cavill has a mustache, and it is hilarious. And was kind of just the beautiful cherry on top of a terrible movie sundae of clashing of tones and characters that you've never seen before, some of which, are charming. I would say I enjoyed the Flash character in the Justice League that I saw. I thought it was an interesting character choices, and I figured Ezra Miller would do a great job. Turns out he's also a little bit of a weirdo who likes to choke women when they challenge the fighting prowess of the Flash, which is an interesting thing. It's on video, so I don't think that's apocryphal. That just straight up happened. And then there was Cyborg, who was kind of boring and kind of a bummer, because I don't think he's even in the original Justice League. They kind of just needed him to fill out a roster, and I guess it was between him and Green Lantern, and I think they were too scared of a Ryan Reynolds situation. No offense to Ryan Reynolds, who's doing just fine thanks to Deadpool. So they went with him, and he was kind of boring, not very interesting, and not very fun. And meanwhile, you have Ezra Miller, who's like a character, and they gave him some cheesy ass jokes, and then you come to find out all the ones that kind of don't land and seem stupid were from our boy, what's his name? Wow. Joss Whedon. He turned him into, you know, a wisecracking moron when he was more of a legitimate, interesting character. I'm losing the thread because I'm kind of upset at my own performance here. Anyway, the movie comes out. Not very well reviewed. A lot of people don't like it. And then something happened. Some of the guys and gals who were in the movie, we're already at line 100, and I'm not doing spoilers yet. I'm not even talking about the movie. I'm talking about the history of the movie. Some of the people who were in the movie, they start coming out with these stories. They're saying, you know, there's a Snyder Cut, man. And the Snyder Cut, it's legit. Which is like saying, hey, you know that, like, shit sandwich you ate earlier? I had a bologna sandwich, and it tasted pretty good. Well, yeah, because it wasn't made of feces. If you watched Garbage, and then they're like, by the way, there's a cut of this film that's great. It's like, well, let's hope so, because this one was trash. Much like Suicide Squad. So, they started the hashtags, release the Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut exists. It exists. And Zack Snyder confirms it. I have my version of the film, which is based on this grand vision of the entire series and what it's going to become. And if I just had a little bit more time and a little more understanding, I could have made it. And he's the underdog. And we all forgot about Guardians of Ga'Hoole and the and Watchmen, and we forgot about all the things he did that would make us believe maybe he doesn't know how to make a good movie. Like, I don't know, Sucker Punch, which we talked about on the stream earlier. Sucker Punch, what are you talking about? How do you watch Sucker Punch and then go, yeah, you know who can deal with Justice League? The guy who directed this really long, terrible, rapey music video. That guy, he's gonna really propel Justice League into the world of Marvel and whatever. That's a different discussion. So then Warner Brothers comes out with HBO Max, man. And HBO Max needs big things to get people to buy them subscriptions because they already got Netflix. Some of them got Hulu. And what's going to bring them over? Hey, guess what? You know that Snyder Cut? We got it. We gonna make it. It's going to be for real. It's going to be in your own homes. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's going to be 4 hours. What? Yeah, it's going to be 4 fucking hours. Oh, okay. All right. That's a long time. Yeah, but he's got a lot to say. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to reserve my judgment till I see it. And it came out. And then I had to wait until I had 4 straight hours to watch it. Because I wasn't going to watch it in segments. This isn't a television show. It's a movie. It's not a television show. It's a movie. It's not Zack Snyder, Justice League, the television show. You only hate... you only hate Suicide Squad because you hate females in leading roles. This is what I mentioned that I believe Wonder Woman was a pretty good movie. And that leading role in that was not Chris Pine. Oh, I don't want to... This is not about Suicide Squad. It's not about Wonder Woman. It's about Justice League. So I found 4 hours, and I watched it. I watched the movie. And I gotta tell you, the thing that shocked me... And I went in with low expectations. How do I put this? I went in with medium expectations. Why? Because I had medium expectations, and then my buddy Zackaroo, who's in the Discord, was like, yeah, I'm watching it. It's hot dog shit. It's the worst thing ever. It's the most self-indulgent piece of shit I've ever seen. It's the worst. It's so long. Oh my god, I hate it. I'm paraphrasing. Also, I'm pretty sure I'm putting words in his mouth. But since we're here... He did not like it. I can say that for certain. So I was like, okay, Zach didn't like it. You know, we have differing opinions on movies sometimes. I started watching it. And I watched it. And I kept watching it. And I watched it for the whole 4 hours. And I will agree, it's very indulgent. It is very, very indulgent. And you want to know why? Because we let the kids decide where we're going for dinner. And the kids said McDonald's. So we went to McDonald's and we got 17 Happy Meals because that's what the kids wanted. And they got Zack Snyder, boy. They wanted Zack Snyder, they got Zack Snyder. So we got some slow motion and we got some scenes that could be cut down. Like that was probably the most obvious thing to me while watching it. Because even in director's cuts, when you watch it, you're like, okay, they put in this scene, they thought this was important, the studio didn't think this was important, they're like, cut it out. And he's like, okay, I guess. And it might be just a little bit more explanation that doesn't need explaining, things like that. This movie has cuts and scenes that are just too long, in my opinion. Not in Zack Snyder's opinion, but in my opinion. There were just scenes where it's like, you could have ended this earlier. We don't need to look at this team for another minute. We don't need more time to look at this. Like, we got it. Also, there's slow motion. Someone clocked it. There is almost 30 minutes of just slow motion in this movie, which I could have expected and I was ready for. But even, like, and that was the other thing I thought. Okay, you got the Flash. Some of it's got to be in slow motion. That's how the Flash operates. So I'm expecting slow motion because that's what we need. But I didn't expect slow motion for all the characters at random times. Like, if you went into the movie knowing, hey, there's going to have to be slow motion for the Flash, work out so that you're not in it for everybody else. But that's again, not my vision. It's not my vision. It's not my choice. It's Zack Snyder's choice. And this is the Zack Snyder Justice League. Oh man, and that's what it is, man. It is what happens when they literally go crazy. I'm sure there's other examples that I can't think of right now where if no one is telling the guy what to do, what comes out is not very good. And Zack Snyder Justice League is the perfect example of that. Because it's not bad. Like, I wouldn't even say it's bad. It's just so obviously his. It's so obviously something he made that nobody else was going to tell him what's up. And that's exactly what the fans wanted, and that's what they got. 4 hours of it. And sure, it's not bad, but it could have been a little bit better with a little bit of that editing. Or it could have been better if we didn't have to microwave origin stories for 2 extra fucking characters. Like, if they actually didn't wait to have their team up movie without explaining who some of these people were, so you don't have to spend a good, I don't know, hour and a half explaining the emotional weight of these characters we had never seen before this movie. Like, if you didn't have to microwave all of that, then yeah, we could have cut this thing down to a more reasonable time. And then if we dealt with the overindulgent long shots of them in random places, and then we dealt with some of the slow motion that's not necessary, and then we dealt with some of the over-explaining of certain things where they're like, because this movie does do something that the first Justice League didn't do that I thought was necessary, which was basic explanation of what's going on. Because there were points in the first Justice League where you're just like, why does Steppenwolf know where this shit is? Like, how does he just know where this is? And if he did, why didn't he just show up immediately after Superman died? Like, hey, what's up? Taking the mother box and outie. And in this movie, it actually takes time to explain it, and it over-explains it, and over-explains it, and then explains it again if you were asleep 2 hours ago. And it's like, okay, I get it, man. I get why we're here. Let's keep going. Let's keep this train a-moving. Hold on. What did you write, Shadow? Let's find out what you wrote. Superman 3 has no slow motion. It's that good. You can't handle that much awesome. We're not talking about Superman 3. And you know what this movie also did? You know what Zack Snyder did? We got more Lois Lane. And if anybody watched my review on Batman vs. Superman Ultimate Edition, you know my feeling about Lois Lane in these movies. So glad she's here. So stoked we're worried about her emotional involvement in every fucking thing that happens. And you know what this movie also had that I was stoked about? More Alfred, because Alfred rules. Also, a slight bit more of J.K. Simmons, because I forgot, which I think everybody does, for a half a moment, and then when I remember, I'm like super fucking stoked. J.K. Simmons was set to be the Commissioner Gordon in this universe, and we lost it. And J.K. Simmons is the shit. Everything J.K. Simmons does is rad. That was like one of the biggest takeaways I took from the Snyder Cut, which I guess is not a very good thing. We missed out on J.K. Simmons Commissioner Gordon, which would have been the coolest. Because J.K. Simmons rules and Commissioner Gordon rules, and therefore we have the rule of two rules, and it would have been awesome. But instead, no. Now we're gonna get that one dude from Westworld as Commissioner Gordon. They're not gonna restore the Snyderverse. That's another thing we need to talk about in a minute or two. So I'm not gonna get that sweet, delicious J.K. Simmons Gordon action. I'm not getting it. And that's what pissed me off the most. Because, you know, the movie comes out. All the people that were, you know, ready to sacrifice their firstborn to see it watched it immediately because they have 4 hours to kill somehow. I always thought Steppenwolf was born to be wild. Damn it, Shadow! You're making me lose my train of thought. Steppenwolf was born to be wild. So, oh, where was I? Damn it, Shadow! So, Steppenwolf, you know, one of the big changes that they made in the Joss Whedon bastardized edit of this film was they took out a lot of the dark side of it. And Darkseid, you know, is the big bad. He's the Thanos if we're gonna compare it to Marvel. And Steppenwolf was just one of his cronies, right? And a crony that was actually disgraced. What's the word? He was disgraced, and Darkseid doesn't trust him and kind of gives him the shit work of going to Earth and finishing this. Because that's another funny thing, is the idea that like Earth is not that big a deal. It just kind of kicked Darkseid's ass, so he's like, I'm not going back there until I'm ready. And the mother boxes are all like, hey man, there ain't no Kryptonian, dog. You want to get down here? Well, the getting's good. And he's like, yeah, send Steppenwolf. Send that fucker that we have problems with. And so because they didn't want the dark side of it all, because if the movie failed, they can just reboot it. Zack Snyder is like, we're bringing all that dark side shit back, brother. This thing is going to be dark side all day, every day. And Steppenwolf is just kind of like Darkseid's a little bee, and fuck, this is not what I wanted at all. Son of a bitch. He's just Darkseid's little bee boy, who's his little ball boy, we'll say that, going around doing his little shit work. And then once Steppenwolf is like, yo, dude, the anti-life equation's on this Earth, dog, then fucking Darkseid, it's probably one of the funniest scenes of the movie. He's like, look, dude, the anti-life equation, it's on Earth. And then the guy that screens Darkseid's calls, Dasan or whatever, is like, what? He's like, yeah, dude, the anti-life equation, it's on Earth, man. The stories are true. It's Earth. Earth got that anti-life equation goodness. You need to get down here. Darkseid needs to get down here. And then Darkseid gets all the photos. Everyone was like, oh, shit. I got him on the horn. He never talks to me. It's so funny. It made me laugh. Maybe it was because the lack of sleep, because it was like 2.5 hours before this point happens. But he gets on the horn and he's like, well, I got to get down there. And the movie ends with this huge cliffhanger of like Darkseid's gonna come to Earth. He's gonna... Ever see Super? I thought that was a good superhero movie. It was a decent superhero movie with Rainn Wilson. Yeah, I get you. It's probably funnier than this movie, I'm sure. This movie is very severe. Has little tiny moments of levity, not forced like a Joss Whedon show with references and bullshit. But and after all that, I mean, you can tell what happens. I mean, you saw the first cut. The heroes win. They send the alien packing. Everything's back to normal. Superman's alive again because we got to retcon that shit because he's the only reason any of us are worth a damn. It's because we have Superman on our team. And there's this big, giant, open issue, which is, what about Darkseid? And that, of course, is making all of the fans go, well, what about Darkseid? And Warner Brothers is basically saying to them, go fuck yourself. Which I think is the funniest thing about this whole situation. Warner Brothers gave in to the kids and said, we'll go to McDonald's. The kids are like, I want a sundae. And the parents are like, okay, you get jack shit after going to McDonald's. Well, maybe you get a Happy Meal, but you ain't getting no sundae. And the kids are starting to cry, and it makes me laugh. Because what the fuck did you expect? Did you really, like, did the people who wanted this movie really think that the movie would end with a resolution that they would be happy accepting without more movies? And on top of that, did you really think Warner Brothers was going to be like, well, let's just make more of those? You know, those really, really expensive, over-dramatic superhero movies that don't really review well and don't do as well as, say, Aquaman, which is hilarious, or Venom, which is also hilarious. Is it really worth it for us to do another one? And they're just flat out saying, no, we're not gonna. We ain't gonna do it. And that makes me fucking so happy. Because what did everybody, like, the reaction to what's happening is so not surprising. It's like, okay, well, he was setting up like a universe, like he was expecting this thing to go on for a while, or at least have places to go. So it's not going to end with like, and everything's back to normal, and we don't even need a Justice League. Let's go make individual movies now. And then everyone's like, well, we want that. And like, you ain't getting it. We told Zack Snyder to screw. We're done with him. Oh, well, what about the nightmare stuff? What about that awesome... Oh, God. Let's talk about that. See, this is going to be boring for everybody here. I apologize. But one of the things that came out of this that I was very excited to see how I'd feel about it was there is a scene, ladies and gentlemen, with Jared Leto as the Joker that people were saying is the greatest on-screen interaction between the Joker and Batman. And I said, let's see how true that is. And I watched it, and it's at the very fucking end of this movie. It is way at the end of this film. And it's actually in a fucking dream sequence. And I was like, well, yeah, it's the nightmare stuff that didn't actually happen in this movie, so it's not going to be a part of the continuity. It's not really about anything that we're seeing. It's very high implication that it could be an alternate universe. So basically, it doesn't need to exist at all. And sure enough, I watched it and was like, that wasn't that good, ladies and gentlemen. It was proof that the people who were watching this movie and getting excited for it were stans of Zack Snyder and completely, what's the word? Didn't everyone despise like Jared Leto's? If they didn't, they fucking should have, because that was so bad. And to give slight credit to Jared Leto's Joker, according to him, he filmed a whole bunch of shit. Like, according to him, he filmed like a whole movie's worth of stuff, and they cut it down to basically jack shit. Which, I don't know what those scenes were like, but I know the scenes I saw in Suicide Squad, and those were trash. So I would have to imagine that the scenes in the cuts, or the scenes in the cut stuff, is probably also just different levels of stinky trash. I will not accept anybody but Cesar Romero. I mean, Cesar Romero's a good Joker. I'll agree with that. I like Cesar Romero's Joker. I do like Heath Ledger's Joker, probably the best. But when I read, oh my gosh, this is the best on-screen interaction of Batman and the Joker, I was like, that is too high a praise. If you started with, hey, the scene, it's way better than the other Joker stuff, I would have been excited. But when you said, oh, it's the best on-screen. When you said it was the best on-screen interaction between the Joker and Batman, my first thought is bull fucking shit. And I was right. It is not that good. And it also does something that I was like, fuck off. Now, I haven't read any comics. I'm going to say that right now. All of my opinions on Batman, all of my opinions on the Joker are completely based off cinematic interpretations and the incomparable performance of Mark Hamill in the video games and in the animated series and some of the films he did. That being said, I'm not an expert on the Joker. I don't have any ownership of the Joker character. But when the Joker makes a reach-around joke, my first thought is, what the fuck is this except the Joker? It's not the fucking Joker. The Joker doesn't make reach-around jokes. The Joker barely makes sexual jokes that are like... I could see the Joker making sexual jokes here and there, but a reach-around joke? What is he, fucking 10? The man has some fucking class. That's why, like, the rumor, like, oh, it's not actually the Joker, it's like a copycat Joker, was like, okay, I accept that immediately, because no fucking way is there a Joker out there that's like, haha, who's gonna give you a reach around? Fuck off. That was my first thought, like, fuck off. And then of course you have Ben Affleck, who I don't think is a bad Batman. I mean, I enjoyed his Batman displays. I enjoyed his Batman displays. Fucking what the hell? His performances. Get it together. It's only 25 minutes into this possibly 45-minute review. I'm barely invested in this comic book movie stuff at all, but even I know the Joker doesn't make frat boy jokes. Dude, it's fucking unreal. Because it's almost like beyond hyped up, where you're like, okay, I know this scene exists thanks to the fucking internet. I know this scene's coming. I don't know when it's gonna be. And like, we get to the scene and there's all these other characters. There's all this implication of dead characters and other characters. And like, obviously we're in a separate universe, and now we're introducing separate universes where, I don't know, maybe these characters interact in different ways. Oh yeah, totally. They're gonna make that movie, except they're not. Not before Marvel does, and makes it better than you. So, like, we get to the scene, and then they start talking, and I'm like, okay, you know what this is? Not as bad as the first Joker. I'll give him that. He's reined it in a little bit, which is exactly what I wanted. Then he started sounding like Jim Carrey. Then he started making jokes that I was like, fuck off. And like, when I audibly like go fuck off watching a performance of the Joker, I obviously don't like it. Obviously not a fan. And then I remembered, as they were wrapping up their conversation, where they have this truce, when they have this dumb fucking truce, I was like, people said this was the best on-screen interaction of the Joker and Batman. Better than Heath Ledger and, oh shit. Oh damn it, that was dumb. Better than Heath Ledger and, I can't remember his name. Oh my god, I cannot remember his name. Oh, what's his fucking name? You ever seen the makeup artist Rick Baker's Halloween costume? Whole family were I have not seen that. It's probably very fun and interesting, and I want to check it out now after I get done reviewing this movie sometime. This Christian Bale, silly man, thank you. I'm sorry, it's hard. It's very difficult to access memories right now. My brain is currently busy. Okay, we were talking about the Joker. Talking about that extra scene that was completely unnecessary, that he shot in his backyard. That was the other thing. They told him, hey, you can do this thing, you just can't shoot anything, and he just did anyway. That's against the rules, and just made your movie longer. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Zach? It's also proof that, why would they work with him? They gave him very specific instructions on something that shouldn't even exist in the first place, because it's like unprecedented, and like the first time and probably the only time it'll ever happen. And he was like, well, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. And it's like, yeah, but you shouldn't though. Yeah, but you shouldn't though. And the scene was so not necessary. It was just this dream sequence that was like just feeding into more speculation about all the wonderful things that were going to happen in the Snyderverse that are not going to happen now, because Warner Brothers doesn't care about your actual opinion. They cared about your HBO Now membership. Sorry, Max. HBO Now was the failed one that they had earlier. But when you fucking get on the goddamn Instagram and the computers and you start writing your blog and you go, this is the best on-screen interaction between Batman and Joker, and you're just objectively wrong, it's clear that you have like slight mental illness. That's mean and rude and very dismissive of people with actual mental illness that are suffering. I'm just saying, you're wrong. You are wrong. You are so fucking wrong. That was not the best interaction between a Batman and that wasn't even better. That wasn't even better than Cesar Romero and fucking Adam West. Get it together. Like, Cesar Romero has a better grasp of the fucking Joker. What's his name? The guy from Lost who played Benjamin Linus, who was only the Joker in The Dark Knight Returns has a better understanding of the Joker than you do. You made garbage. You're not good at being the Joker. And just because you were in quote-unquote, you were method, and you were in character the whole time, where you were sending used fucking condoms to your acting mates, and which is fucking bullshit and stupid, and you should feel bad, and you're not a smart person, and cool, you're a decent actor, great. Maybe this has turned into hating Jared Leto. Maybe. Don't see Morbius. Anyway, he's only in it for a scene, and he shouldn't have been in it at all. Let's talk more about the other shit. Oh, I don't know. This Joker does not send people used condoms. Yeah. He sent used condoms to his co-stars in Suicide Squad and like dead rats, because he's hilarious. Because he's the Joker. He's the clown prince of crime. Something else about this fucking Justice League? Yeah, you know what you're gonna hear a lot of? Women chanting. Oh boy. He got a sample of women chanting, and he's like, we're gonna use this shit all the time. This is the Mad Notes. How are we gonna know that Wonder Woman's about to do something rad? We're gonna get that women chanting, and the same one too. It wasn't like he got like a bunch of different kinds of chanting and was like, you know what I'm gonna do? We're going to drop it in a lot of times when we see Wonder Woman, and everyone's going to remember those really badass Wonder Woman scenes, and they're going to be stoked. No, it was like, hey, Wonder Woman's on screen. Get that get that audio file out. We need to put it in. And it's like, well, she's just like staring at a very large arrow. Yeah, get the sound. But she's not really fighting or anything. Get the sound. She's on screen. Get the sound. It's like, maybe we should use a different one, like a different audio track, because we've heard it about 40 times already. I think you forgot that this is Zack Snyder's Justice League and not sound editor Justice League. So get the sound, or I'll fire you from this this vanity project. Man, and that's probably the worst part of it, is like, you can say it's bad. But it's not bad. It's okay. But do you really want the 4-hour indulgence project to be okay? No, you want it to be spectacular. You want it to be Francis Ford Coppola's supercut of The Godfathers, which I haven't seen, but I heard is great, because both of those movies are great. But this seems like the recut of Godfather 3, which I also haven't seen, but I don't know how you can make that movie great. I don't know on what planet you make that movie fantastic, but Francis Ford Coppola thinks he can do it. Oh wow, you wrote a lot, and there's no way I'm going to be able to read that. But I know that you were comparing Adam West's Batman to Superman 3, which, it's so weird. And you bring up a good point that I'm not going to talk about it specifically, but I'm talking about the point adjacent to your point. The adjacent born to your point. Superhero movies, it used to be about camp, right? It used to be about like, aha, we're a superhero movie, pow, bang, you know, I'll get you, dastardly villain. And then it became just the action movie. Like, we have action movies still, but those don't gross that much, and they're kind of shitty. So the action movies are superhero movies, and because Disney's a monopoly that will soon control the air we breathe, it's also under one roof, and all the money gets made by them. Unless you're Universal with Fast and Furious, which is one of the reasons I patronize their service, and I will till the day I die. It's because at least it's not Disney, and they're hilariously bad. But when it comes to the superhero movies growth, what Marvel has done is it has made it the kind of movie to make, and then Warner Brothers' decision seemed to be, well, we're going to make the ones that are a little more arty until they wanted to make that money and they wanted to guarantee return, and then they made Aquaman, which is just Fast and the Furious underwater, brother. And you know what? I mean, I didn't hate it. It was stupid. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that Wonder Woman, Aquaman was not a good movie. It was a fun watch once and hilarious, but it's not a good movie. And it when they started mentioning the like sequels to Aquaman, you're like, shut the fuck up. Come on. Like, oh yeah, people are really interested in this section of Aquaman. It's like, the people who are interested in that section can't remember what that part of Aquaman was like because they're too busy on Snapchat destroying their brain cells. Like, are you kidding me? It's ridiculous. And then they're like, okay, well now we have to try and make the big heavy hitter movies. And then they made Shazam, which apparently is pretty darn good, and caught some of that market share in that type of world. And then this movie, the Zack Snyder Justice League, is like, no. It's a political, well, like Batman v Superman was political thriller, which was exactly what I want to see in my Batman v Superman movie. And then this one, people compare it to a modern epic with like new gods and demigods. And it's like, what? I understand what you mean, but they're superheroes. One guy is dressed like a bat. One dude is the Flash, who runs fast. And the other guy is Aquaman, which is what they call him, besides Arthur, is Aquaman. And you are treating this like it's Macbeth. Not even Macbeth. Like it's an ancient Greek professor talking about the stories of the gods. Like, what are you doing? But, I mean, what we've learned. Let's talk about what we've learned. Because that's really the more important thing. From my review, I don't even know. First off, there's no way you're still watching. That's a fact. Because you probably, even if you're a slight watcher of the Blockbuster reviews, because this is on stream right now, but even if you, as I cut it into a Blockbuster review, you're probably thinking to yourself, what the fuck happened? Why is this so long? And he's talking about a little bit of everything. That's because it's very hard to keep on target while playing this game for quite literally maybe 40 minutes. But it's also hard to keep on track with the Justice League, the Zack Snyder Justice League, because its influence and its story now changes everything and highlights everything about what's wrong. Not what's wrong with movies, but what's going on with movies today. And I was talking about this with a coworker. It is insane how movies are now just announced exactly what they are before people even get a chance to see a trailer. Perfect example. We knew Spider-Man was going to be in Captain America Civil War before we went to see it in the theater. And the reveal of Spider-Man is then tainted. Oh my god. I can't read what you're saying. Can we do a custom battle in-game? I mean, we possibly could. It's not really the mode I'm pulling here, buddy, but, you know, I mean, I might get in there with you in just a minute. Right now I'm talking about the most important cinematic experience to ever hit our home viewing, which, of course, is the Snyder Cut. Sorry, BCG Bonnie. I hope you don't love the Snyder Cut and found that insulting. Because as I get closer to the end here, because it's only 999 lines, and I cannot believe I kept this going this long. One thing I will say about it, and I've already said it at least 3 times, it's not... I don't even know what that is. Good. Do not watch the Snyder Cut. Don't even know about its existence. That's a good thing. You are living a good life. Our lives are better if we did not know about the Snyder Cut, because it means that you're probably doing more important things, at least to you. Oh, fuck off. Not you, BCG Bonnie. I appreciate you being here asking to do one of those things. But I digress from the topic. The most important sentence out of this review is, it's not bad, but if it's 4 hours, of your life, it should be better. Oh god. It should be better. It's just a fact. If you expect people to spend 4 hours of their time, it should be better. It should also, if it's like I said before, I think before I did this, when I started the stream, if your movie is 4 hours, 4 hours, every scene better be necessary. Every single scene. You better ask yourself of that. When you get to a movie that's 3 hours, you have to go through that motherfucker and ask yourself, is it necessary? Because that's what the audience's mind has to do while watching your film. It's like, okay, this is 3 hours. I know it. That's another thing. We know it's 4 hours. So you're going in going, okay, this is 4 hours of my time. It's better. I mean, maybe my time, maybe I don't use my time wisely and have terrible time management skills. But it's like, if I'm spending 4 hours here, man, it better be worth it. And it was worth it just for this conversation. But fuck, man, if I didn't have a situation where I would talk about movies with people that like to talk about movies and don't immediately unsubscribe from the channel because we have different opinions on movies, Shadow, I wouldn't have watched it, because my thought when first hearing about it was like, what? They're gonna do what? Like, do these people know Zack Snyder? No offense to him personally, he went through some tragedies, and if his movies make money and he's happy doing what he's doing and he's not hurting anybody, whatever. But Zack Snyder, like, that's who you think is gonna do it? Like, it's not like a cut of like something Guillermo del Toro did. It's not something that oh my gosh, you guys are talking about something regards to Halloween. I can't even look at the screen long enough to talk to you. Sorry, I apologize. I'll get back to the chat. I know it's something about Halloween. Oh jeez. Oh fuck. Damn it. Oh my gosh, this is bad. This is bad. It's not doing what I need it to do. Because, yeah, I mean, and you knew, I think people who just, like, enjoy movies and don't have a opinion about the Justice League or Zack Snyder or the whole story, who just live their lives without being involved in this internet nonsense. Kirk, stop reading this. Stop it. It's your fault. You wrote, like, a paragraph, and I want to know what it says. But people who just watch movies for what they are and just make their decisions, you know, based on what they put in front of them, I think they'll say when they watch this movie, like, yeah, it's pretty good, kinda, but why is it so long? Like, I know that you have to set up some characters, and the movie kind of starts with this assumption that you just watched Batman v Superman, which, if you watch both of those movies, if you watch Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Cut, and then Zack Snyder's Justice League, I commend you for not being asleep, because, oh my god, Dawn of Justice. I kind of hate Dawn of Justice, because that was literally Batman v Superman. It's the fight that you kind of want to see. You haven't seen it with real life people. You haven't seen it, but we're gonna bring it to you. And you're like, okay, cool. So here's Lois Lane. I'm sorry. Here's Lois Lane. Where's Batman and or Superman? Oh, they'll be here. Why aren't they here now? Why aren't they here now? Why are we waiting to see them? Why aren't we waiting to... Oh, shit. Someone's at the door. This isn't good. It's like the worst time for something like this to happen. Can I pause this? Somebody in the place can get it, but I don't want to... Oh my god. Okay, I can pause. But I shouldn't pause. I'm so close. Anyway, sounds like it's taken care of. Yeah, I don't know. I was talking about a movie that I'm not even supposed to be talking about. I wanted to mention one more thing. There's so many things I would like to mention, but I'm running out of time, and I think you already know my... What the fuck just happened there? Okay, gotta calm down. Calm down, gotta get it together. Calm down, gotta get it together. My dog has gotta stop barking, because his barking is really fucking with my flow. Every scene where Batman is on. I did want to say this about the film that I think is more of a scathing indictment of films in general. The fact that he could just take scenes that already existed and just change everything about what's going on. Change the whole context of the scene with just CGI is a problem that I don't think anyone else cares about but me. Because there are scenes from the Justice League, actually almost the entire ending sequence, that it's exactly the same, but you just change all the CGI around it. Just all the CGI around it is completely changed. And it kind of gives this, like, real cheap like... Yeah, I know, Max. I know. He's barking at nothing, which is cute to everybody else but me, while I'm trying to play gosh darn Tetris, not Texas. Not the state of Texas. I'm not trying to play the game of... or the state of Tetris in a game of Tetris. That would be... the Texas Tetris game would be a bloodbath. They're very serious about their Tetris over in Texas. Anyway, it was kind of like a eyes open moment when I'm watching these scenes where it's like, yeah, that's in Justice League 2017. They just changed the color scheme. Cool. And that was also, you know, it just kind of leaves you empty knowing, like, oh, every movie you see now is just tweaks of a computer. And then the entire thing changes. The entire thing. Cats, for example. We could have had cat buttholes. And they just one keystroke of the computer. And that's what as we end here, that's what the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League is. It is the butthole cut of cats. 46 minutes. A little bit more, because I had to pause it. The Snyder Cut. If you wanted to see it, you probably already have. It's not bad, but for 4 hours, it should be amazing. At least in my opinion. I'm taking a break. Ugh.